Oh, welcome back to NerdCast. Today we are doing our top 5
Warner Brother games.
Yeah, this list was kind of hard to make for me.
Not for me.
I don't play a lot of non-superhero Warner Bros. Games because most of their games are like movie tie-ins, and I don't play Lord of the Rings games that much. I haven't played Hitman, and I haven't played
and then there's also Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, and I haven't played any Lord of the Rings games. So, I'm playing Injustice while we do this. What are you going to play, Grayson?
Oh yeah, Injustice Part 1. Oh, I'm playing Battlefield once again.
And since I'm playing Injustice, can that segue into my number 5?
Sure.
My number 5 is Injustice, Gods Among Us. Okay, this is just a great fighting game. I'm not a fighting game person, but I just really like this game. Mostly because of its DC, but also because it's just really fun. I have not played the story mode, but I've started it and I've gotten quite a bit into it, and I know a lot about it. So I really like the story so far, and it's a cool concept. And I think all the characters are great, and it has really great character designs. I think that... Oh, whoopsie, I picked Wonder Woman on accident. I don't like playing as Wonder Woman. But yeah, I think that this is this is definitely my favorite fighting game. I think I like it more than the sequel just because I like the graphics better and I like the character designs and story better. So, Grayson, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is Lego Marvel Superheroes Part 2. Lego games just have a certain charm to me. I've been playing them for a very long time, and I never actually knew this till now, but Warner Brother makes or supports almost every Lego game, which includes Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. It's just a good game. I'm playing through it right now, and I really enjoy it. And I'm just having a lot of fun with it. It just kind of... Like I said earlier, it just has a charm to it.
It is. It's a really fun game. It's or you said Lego Marvel Superheroes 2?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had to add something. And
What?
This isn't one of those little one after the movies. This is a original. Well, I think it might be after a comic book.
No, it's not. Well, no, I don't think it is.
It's its own original story, right? Just that, and it's just kind of a different experience from most of the games that I play, especially story games, because it just has so much to do, and you wouldn't expect there to be that much to do in a Lego game. Usually it's just the main story, but they're free play, and I'm gonna save Stan Lee. All of the Stan Lees in every mission because, to celebrate Stan Lee. So.
I tried doing that. But something I did do it in is Lego Marvel Superheroes 1, which is my number 4. I love Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, probably more than Injustice, but I didn't want to put both Lego Marvel Superheroes games on the list. So I had to pick my favorite, and my favorite is Lego Marvel Superheroes 1. Okay, I love the MCU a lot. I'm a hardcore MCU fanboy. Infinity War is one of my favorite movies of all time. But when I think of Marvel, I feel like the MCU is a little too gloomy for me. Whenever I think of the bright, colorful world of Marvel Comics, I honestly think of the Lego games. In my opinion, they are the most comic accurate version of Marvel Comics outside of the comics, and they are just the most cheery, and they're the most representative of what Marvel is. So yeah, and the game itself is great story, great open world gameplay, great characters, great aesthetic, great soundtrack. So
One thing I have to add is they have different voice actors, and it kind of sets it off a little bit weird, but if you don't mind that, it's fine.
Yeah. And I do think the voice cast.
What's your number 4, Bart?
My number 4 was Lego Marvel Superheroes 1. That's what I just said.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Uh,
What's your number
my
3?
three?
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
number 4. Your
My
number 4.
number... Oh, yeah, 4. Here, let me check real quick. My number 4 is Injustice 2. I used to watch YouTubers play Injustice 2 when it was released, and I was finally able to get it on disc like 2 years ago. But it's still a great game. It doesn't really feel like it's aged at all. Like, it's a great game. It's a fighting game like Mortal Kombat. And since it's Warner Brothers who made Mortal Kombat, it really feels like a good fighting game. Like, it feels smooth just like Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's not in the list because, while I'm not too into Mortal Kombat, it's still a good game.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers really did a good job with Injustice 2. It's based off of the comic book series, and it does have a lot of story mixed in with the fighting.
Actually, it's not based on the Injustice comic book series. The Injustice series was started, and then the comic came out. So the Injustice game started the story, then they made a comic series that took place before the Injustice games. There are a lot of continuity errors, though. I can't remember what, but I think like one of the villains died like 2 times, once in the games, and then once in the comics. Man, Cyborg is really... Hot Girl, I'm playing as Ares right now. Hot Girl was not giving me a challenge, but... Oh crap, come on, super move. Okay, so my number 3... Yeah. My number 3 is Lego Batman. Now, Lego Batman 2 and Lego Batman 3 are probably better games, but I just think that I am a Batman person, and while I love DC as a whole, the other games are less Batman games and more DC, but when you want a true Lego Batman game, you should play the original Lego Batman. The aesthetic, in my opinion, is amazing. The story is great, even though they don't have dialogue. It's a very simple story, but it's also great. I said the soundtrack. It's ripped straight from the Burton movies. The whole game is based off the Burton and Schumacher movies. Since when it came out, Batman Begins hadn't been released, I don't think, or it had been released, but it hadn't made it that big of an influence yet. Yeah, Lego Batman 1 is my favorite Lego game, and one of just my favorite games of all time. Played it when my mom was as a kid, and she would stay up late at night after I went to sleep, trying to get all of the mini kits. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and if you watch your old videos, there's one on you playing it.
Oh, that was actually not, I was like 5. That was not Lego Batman 1, it was Lego Batman 3. But yeah, what is your next?
Wait, is this number 3 now?
Yeah.
My number 3 is Shadow of War.
You're number 2. Shadow of War? I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, Shadow of War is a game based in the Lord of the Rings series. It has the same combat style as Arkham, and it's made by, Warner Brothers like Arkham. It's a really good game. You don't have to know too much about Lord of the Rings to play the game. This is the second one in the series, so you might, if you decide to play the first one. But when I played it again for a second time, and it has this unique thing called the Nemesis or Enemy system, which is where if a orc kills you, then it will get promoted and become stronger. But if you kill it, it might be able to come back, even if you chop off its head. Things like that. And also, you can siege castles. You can make orcs on your side, and then siege castles, making the whole castle yours, and then your castle can get siege. So it's like a whole castle war. Me being into historic wars and things like that, it was really fun to be alongside a bunch of orcs in a really fun game. It does have a little bit of lags and glitches, though.
It does sound pretty fun. I've never played Shadow of War, but I have heard of it. And it's a pretty popular game, but I do not know enough about it to comment, but it does sound pretty interesting. So what number are we on? Oh, yes. My number 2, is Batman Arkham Knight. So Batman Arkham Knight is the final game in the Arkham series. And it, in my opinion, gets a lot of similar to the Dark Knight Rises, which we talked about in the last video. Go watch the last video. I feel like the endings of series often are put under more intense scrutiny than the other ones, and I feel that's true for the Dark Knight Rises and Arkham Knight. I think the Arkham Knight is one of the best of the Arkham games. I think that the Batmobile is really fun to control, or the Bat Tank, and gets a lot too much hate. It has one of the best stories, and I do love how Scarecrow was the main villain of it. I think the gameplay is really fun. I think the alternative members of the Bat family you can play as are great. And great additions in the challenge maps. I think all the DLCs are great. It's just an all-around fabulous game. So Grayson, what is this your number 1 now?
No, this is my number 2 also. It was the same thing. Mine is also this, so I'll talk mostly about the DLC, since you've covered most of the game. The DLCs, they have a Robin, a Harley Quinn, a Catwoman, a Nightwing, and a Red Hood. And my personal favorite one, they also have Batgirl. My personal favorite one has to be the Nightwing campaign, like DLC, because I was named after him and I just like the character all in all. But they're really good. I've played all of them except for the Robin one and the Harley Quinn one.
Really, you should play the Harley Quinn one. The Robin one's good, but it's Arkham Knight Two-Face is your favorite villain. Is the main villain. So you would really like it. The Harley Quinn one is also really great. She plays really well, and her interactions with Penguin. Yeah, Penguin is her guy on the comms unit is really fun. But yeah, my favorite's the Batgirl mission because it's the longest. I think she's just the best character in the game all around because she plays like Batman, but I think she plays even better than Batman. So yeah, all around Arkham Knight, great game, great DLCs. Batgirl's the best.
One thing I would like to add is they use a lot of things from just everything, and they put it in their own way, and it's just, also the stealth in it. I love stealth games, but don't talk about them too much because there's not many stealth games being made anymore, and it's just you could either go in there punching every single bad guy, or the smarter idea is that you could go in there stealthily. So it gives you choices with the little side missions and things like that, or just missions in general. Gives you a lot of your own choices.
Yeah, Arkham Knight.
What's your number 1?
To continue the conversation about how you said the Arkham games in general are just a love letter to all things Batman, and that is why my number 1 is Batman Arkham City. Arkham City is hands down my favorite game of all time. It, in my opinion, has the best story of any game ever. It has great gameplay, great characters. It's the game I've played the most times. I've beat it around 5 times, 6 times maybe, and I did it once in only 9 hours. I have so much nostalgia for the game. I got it when I was in 3rd grade, and it will always be probably my favorite game of all time. It is just an amazing game. And the Arkham games, after City, I feel like the Arkham games went into their own direction with the comics and the movie and the other 2 games. But I feel like Arkham Asylum and Arkham City felt they were just everything that was Batman. Because Arkham Knight is great and I love it, but it feels like its own Batman thing. Well, to me, Arkham City is just Batman. No doubt about it. to me, that is when I think of Kevin, and it also has, in my opinion, the greatest cast of any Batman thing just ever. Second to the animated series. The Arkham games just feel like the animated series, but on a grander scale, and the animated series is flawless, nearly, and one of my favorite just things of all time. And having just a game that is basically that, but with a more intense graphic story and more adult themes is absolutely incredible. So yeah, Arkham City will always be my favorite game of all time. What is your number one?
My number one is... So I've played this game for about, not too long, because in these times that I've played, I stopped playing it. But I've been playing this game for 2 or so years. It's a really fun... It's not technically a stealth game. Well, it is, but you hide inside. You are just walking around and no one notices you. It's Hitman. Hitman is a fun stealth type game where you could either go around killing everyone with rubber chickens, and this is including all of the Hitman games, or you could just kind of do whatever you want. You could go in stealthily, knock people out, don't kill anyone except for your targets. It's a game where your main objective is to reach your targets, and that's it. Literally, you could do anything in there. You just get a huge map with multiple ways to go about it. It takes a few plays, or you could play it just a bunch. I had one map that I spent multiple days on, because there's just so much you can do with the series. There's different places you could spawn, different weapons you start with. There's different suits you can infiltrate the place with, or you could just go in swinging an axe. One weapon that really stood out in the series for me is the suitcase, which you can throw it and it will just follow anyone. It's kind of a little slow, which makes it really hilarious, because it will just follow them like a homing missile, except 10 times less, 30 times less the speed. It's the speed of someone jogging, and it will just follow people, and it's hilarious to use it.
Yeah, so, I have not played Hitman, but, I think that's most of the games you've said, because the only ones I have played are Arkham Knight and Lego. The other games, there was what were your other games? Hitman, Shadow of War, and I played Injustice 2. But yeah, in great games all around on your list. Shadow of War and Hitman, both games I haven't played, but they both sound pretty interesting. If I was going to pick one to play, I think I would go with probably Shadow of War, because it sounds more like RPG, medieval, and that's I like that. So, if I was to check any of the games you said out, it would probably be that one. But, Hitman also sounds pretty fun. So, what's the story of it again? So, it's kind of like a
Hitman?
GTA, right? Yeah.
No, it's not GTA at all.
So,
Hitman, this is me saying to people who want to buy it, if they think it sounds interesting. Hitman is a really fun game that has a lot of fun to be had with it, and it just feels like there's a lot of games now that are just to make money. Sure, in Hitman you have to buy each level, but each level is,
you have to
some of them is a full packaged game, but in Hitman 2 you can get it for free with Game Pass, but you do have to buy the missions, which are $5, only if you get it on Game Pass for free. But it's if you just buy the full game, you'll get all the missions for free. But you could play one of the missions for a very long time. It's very fun. There's different things you can do. There's funny costumes, things like that. It's not just a serious thing where you just be an actual hitman. You could be a clown and kill people with axes. Actually, that doesn't sound too funny. But you can like kill people by drowning them in toilets. It's like an endless way to kill your targets. You could poison them like fully to the point where they die, or you could poison them where they can go to the bathroom, start throwing, and then you can drown them in the toilet.
Well,
it's a very fun game that if you like check out the community of it and look a little bit about it, you'll probably really enjoy it.
Huh. Well, that is going to be the end of our top 5 Warner Brothers games. I hope you enjoyed it. Aquaman is destroying me in Injustice, so I'm breaking out the big guns Doomsday to play him. I'll probably be up all night. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Good night or good morning. Bye-bye.
Aquaman is so annoying in that series.